Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today our mission isn't just about teaching English words, it's about teaching you how to learn English really effectively.
That's right. We're looking at study habits from, well, let's say elite performers. Think top universities. And we've distilled these into 7 techniques you can actually use.
Right, 7 powerful, actionable techniques, stuff you can start applying, like right now.
Exactly. This is basically a blueprint, a way to engineer your own learning system for language.
Because it's easy to think successful students are just, smarter or have way more time.
Yeah, but what the sources show is that success often comes down to having a better process, a better method.
So it's about meta-learning, learning how to learn effectively.
Precisely. And these aren't just like simple tips. These are backed by research. Behavioral hacks, really, designed to boost your focus, your memory, and how you apply the language.
And what's really interesting is that these principles seem to bypass that whole willpower struggle, right?
Totally. They aim to turn learning from something difficult, something draining, into more of a natural, consistent system.
So if you want to get past just reading textbooks and actually master communicating in English.
Then you really need to understand the mechanics behind these 7 habits. It's about the how.
Okay, let's get into it. Part 1, engineering focus. And you mentioned starting with the morning.
Yes, the morning. That's where every productive day really begins. Our first habit isn't about flashcards, not yet anyway. It's about prepping your mind, your cognitive landscape.
Preparing for effective input. You call it the morning prime.
That's the one, the morning prime. See, successful students get that the first hour, maybe even less, sets the tone for focus the rest of the day.
And if you just jump into checking social media, emails, all that noise.
You're flooding your brain, using up valuable mental energy before you even start studying. It's about managing your cognitive load, basically.
All right, so habit 1 is the morning prime. How does it work?
It's a short, structured routine designed to conserve that mental energy and, interestingly, direct oxygen flow.
Oxygen flow. Okay. Step A.
Step A, set a target. Before decision fatigue hits, this is really crucial.
Decision fatigue.
Yeah.
That's the idea that making lots of choices tires your brain out.
Exactly. So top students combat this. They set their one single specific learning target for the day before any other choices pop up, either right when you wake up or maybe even the night before.
And it has to be specific, right? Not just study English.
Absolutely not. That's too vague. It invites procrastination. It needs to be small, clear, measurable.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, maybe. I will master the difference between since and for and write 10 practice sentences. Or I'll listen to a 15-minute English news podcast and summarize the main idea out loud in like under a minute.
Ah, okay. Very specific. It gives your brain a clear mission.
Exactly. Your brain is immediately oriented towards producing something, not just consuming or figuring out what to do. It saves that cognitive energy.
But is setting the target enough? I mean, planning is one thing, but actually doing it, sometimes the body just isn't ready,
That's a great point. And that leads directly into step B. It's physical but low effort.
Okay.
Step B, move your mind, neurological priming.
So not hitting the gym for an hour.
No, there's a misconception there. We're aiming for neurological priming here,
Yeah.
not muscle exhaustion. Just say 3 to 5 minutes of light rhythmic movement.
Like stretching or just walking around.
Yeah, stretching, walking quickly around the room, maybe some simple body weight stuff. It's surprisingly effective
Why just 3 to 5 minutes?
because that short burst increases heart rate variability quickly. That helps get more oxygen to the prefrontal cortex.
Which is the brain's control center for focus and decisions.
Exactly. You're literally feeding your focus center. Skip this.
Yeah.
And you're trying to tackle complex language with a mentally sluggish brain.
Okay. Target set, brain oxygenated. What's next?
Step C. Activate English mode. It's like switching the language track in your head.
Because jumping straight from your native language into hard English is tough.
It creates high cognitive friction, yeah. So you need to warm up those specific neural pathways for English.
How do you do that?
It's brief, low stakes. Maybe read a short, familiar English text out loud. Hearing your own voice helps confirm that switch.
Or repeating phrases from audio.
Yeah, repeat 3 or 4 key phrases from something you like. Or, maybe the most effective way, write a quick note about your plans for the day, but in English.
Ah, I see. It signals to your brain, okay, we're operating in English now, moving from passive knowing to active using, but without pressure.
Exactly.
And the final part of the morning prime.
Step D. Build your focus zone. Environmental control. We tend to underestimate how much our surroundings affect us.
Distraction is a choice, but the environment can push us towards it.
Right. So this step is about making focus the easy option, dramatically lowering the barrier.
So clear the desk.
Clear the decks. Remove those external things that hijack your attention. Only have the specific tools you need for that one target. One notebook, one pen, one resource, maybe.
And the notifications. Got to
Yeah.
silence those, right?
That's critical. Silence all notifications. Every buzz, every ping, even if you ignore it, it creates this cognitive residue. It pulls your attention, makes your brain work to re-engage.
So a clean, silent space lets your mind stay focused without fighting resistance.
Precisely. You're engineering the environment for success.
Okay, brain primed, environment set. Now we get to the actual study session. Habit 2.
Habit 2, deep focus session, leveraging time blocks. And the sources are really clear on this. The difference isn't usually the quantity of time spent studying, it's the quality.
Amateurs study with divided attention, checking phones, multitasking.
While the expert engages in deep focus, the cost of multitasking or task switching is just staggering neurologically.
How much efficiency do you lose?
Estimates are around 20 to 40% loss. Every time you switch from, say, listening practice to checking a message, your brain has to reload the context of the first task. Deep focus avoids that loss completely.
So step 1 for deep focus.
Step 1. Choose one specific task. Again, eliminate vague goals. Just like in the morning prime, specificity is everything here. Define the exact singular activity before you start the timer.
Examples.
Okay. For the next 45 minutes, I'm working on vocabulary from Chapter 3, specifically conjugating those verbs in the past tense. Or I will read 2 short news articles and pull out the top 5 argumentative phrases.
Notice how the output, the doing part, is built into the description.
Yes. That specificity stops your mind wandering off into what should I do next territory.
Okay, one specific task chosen. Step 2.
Step 2, use the time block method. This manages that cognitive load we talked about. Things like the Pomodoro technique popularize this.
Because our intense focus is limited, right?
Exactly. Peak focus usually lasts somewhere between, say, 25 and 50 minutes for most people, so you pick a block within that range.
And during that block,
Absolute commitment, no distractions, no breaks, no multitasking. It's the 100% focus.
and when the timer goes off.
Mandatory short break. Maybe 5 minutes. This break is crucial. It's for mental refreshment, consolidation. Setting that fixed short duration makes it easier to commit because you know relief is coming.
You're not asking your brain to focus indefinitely, just until the timer rings.
Precisely.
And during that focus block, you mentioned maintaining immersion.
That's right, especially for language learners. Your immediate environment should reinforce the learning. If you're reading an English article, maybe any background music is English or just silence.
And the break. Should that be English too?
Ideally, yes. Maybe quickly review a new word or phrase you just learned. Keep the brain operating in English mode. It prevents those language circuits from going dormant.
And the final step of the deep focus session.
Step 3. End with an output. This is really where productive learning happens, distinguishing itself from just passive review.
Learning isn't complete until you produce something.
Exactly. You have to force yourself to produce something related to what you just took in. This uses something called the encoding specificity principle.
Encoding specificity. What's that?
It's the idea that memory retrieval, remembering things, is easier when the context you're trying to remember it in matches the context you learned it in.
Okay, so if you listen to something,
The output is summarizing it out loud, if you read something.
write down the key arguments in your own words.
Perfect. Because passive input, just reading or listening, it doesn't really challenge the brain to use the knowledge. Output forces retrieval, forces reorganization. That dramatically strengthens the memory trace.
So if you can't produce it,
You haven't truly learned it, you've likely only recognized it. Big difference.
okay, that covers focus.
Yeah.
Now, part 2, strengthening memory. Making sure what we learn actually, well, sticks.
Yes, the science of retention. Because, let's be honest, the human brain is kind of optimized for forgetting, isn't it? It discards info it thinks is unimportant or unused.
So the next 2 habits are about tricking the brain, making it think this new English stuff is vital for survival.
Huh. Sort of, yeah. It's about signaling importance through specific actions. Starting with habit 3, active recall.
Active recall, you hear this one a lot. What is it exactly?
It's arguably the single most powerful study strategy cognitive science knows. It's simply the process of testing your brain, making it bring back information without looking at your notes or the source material.
As opposed to just rereading notes multiple times.
Right. Passive review reading notes 6 times. It gives you this illusion of competence. You recognize the info, so you feel like you know it, but recognition is weak memory.
Active recall requires effortful retrieval.
Yes. And that effort is what builds the strong, long-term memory connection.
How do we practice active recall? Step 1.
Step 1. Learn something small. Manage the cognitive load again. Keep the input chunks small and digestible. Maybe 5 new words, or 1 grammar point like the passive voice.
Keep it small so recall is more likely to succeed.
Exactly. The smaller the chunk, the higher the chance of successful retrieval in the next step.
Which is step 2.
Step 2. Close the book. Or shut the app, look away. This is the core mechanic. Retrieval practice. Immediately after that small learning input, you try to pull the information back purely from memory.
So if you learned 5 words,
Try to write them down, define them, use them in a sentence without checking. If you learned about passive voice, immediately try to make, say, 3 unique sentences using it.
and the struggle is actually good.
The struggle is the learning. That act of struggling to retrieve is what makes the memory connection stronger. Studies show 1 successful active recall attempt beats hours of passive reading for long-term retention.
But that struggle is where people often give up, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not smart enough.
Precisely. And that's the wrong takeaway. The difficulty is the signal that learning is actually happening. If retrieval is hard, the memory trace you're building will be deep. If it's easy, well, you probably already knew it well.
Okay, so struggle on. Step 3.
Step 3. Self-testing and the generation effect. You have to become your own teacher. Test yourself relentlessly and in diverse ways.
Not just writing things down.
No. This uses the generation effect. The idea that information you generate yourself, like making your own example sentence, is remembered much better than info you just receive passively.
So for English learning,
Listen to a sentence, pause the audio, try to repeat it or rephrase it without reading a transcript. Use flashcards where you cover the English side and have to produce the English word from your native language cue.
constant self-testing gets rid of that illusion of mastery.
It absolutely does.
And step 4 of active recall, something about timing.
Yes, step 4, repeat after time gaps. Spaced repetition.
Yeah.
This is the secret sauce for long-term retention. You might have heard of the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve.
Yeah, the idea that we forget things rapidly at first.
Exactly. Spaced repetition counteracts that. You review the information strategically right before your brain is about to forget it.
So not reviewing every day necessarily.
Not everything, no. If you learned a phrase today, you might recall it. Let's see, maybe in 10 minutes, just to check initial encoding. Then recall it tomorrow, that's the first big gap. Then maybe in 3 days. Then a week. Then a month.
And that specific timing helps strengthen the memory just as it's about to fade.
That's the idea. It minimizes total study time while maximizing long-term strength. So when you use those flashcards from step 3, you're not reviewing them all daily. You're reviewing the ones due for recall based on that optimal spacing. It's super efficient memory management.
Wow, okay. Active recall, spaced repetition. Powerful stuff. What's habit 4?
Habit 4, learning by teaching. This builds right on active recall. It leverages something called the protege effect.
The protege effect.
Yeah, the idea is if you can teach something clearly and simply, it proves you have a genuine, usable understanding. When you even just anticipate having to teach something, your brain processes the information differently.
How so?
You shift from just trying to memorize facts to actively trying to understand the structure, the relationships between the facts. It forces better organization in your mind.
So how do we learn by teaching? Step 1.
Step 1, learn something small. Again, keep the input chunk manageable. Maybe one tricky rule, like using modal verbs must, should, might, that kind of thing.
Okay, learn the concept. Step 2.
Step 2, teach out loud. Put away all your notes, close the book. Now pretend you're explaining this concept to a friend who knows absolutely nothing about it. Speak slowly, clearly.
Out loud, even if you're alone.
Especially if you're alone. This forces 2 really critical things. First, organization. You have to structure the info logically so it flows. We mentioned flow earlier, moving smoothly.
Right.
Second, hearing yourself speak English forces you to confront fluency issues, pronunciation challenges, things passive reading hides. If you stumble, if you have to switch to your native language to explain.
That's your weak point.
Yeah.
That tells you exactly what you don't fully grasp.
Exactly. It's like high-stakes practice, but without the actual high stakes. The performance itself identifies the gaps.
So the mistakes you make while teaching yourself are actually valuable feedback.
Immediate, personalized feedback loops. They tell you precisely what needs more work in your next review or active recall session.
Okay, Teach out loud. Is there a step 3?
Yes, step 3, teach in writing. After the verbal explanation, try writing the lesson down. Structure it simply. Maybe use headings, bullet points, like a mini lesson plan.
Why writing too?
Writing forces stricter grammar, more precise vocabulary choices. Speaking tests fluency and flow. Writing tests clarity and syntactic accuracy.
So doing both covers different angles of understanding.
Correct. And the result is, over time, your explanations and eventually your spontaneous speech will flow much more naturally because you've practiced retrieving and structuring the information again and again. It builds huge confidence because you have proof you own that knowledge.
All right, part 3. We've prepped the brain, strengthened memory. Now, how do we handle input, like reading? And crucially, how do we get to actually speaking?
Yes, bridging theory and use. This starts with habit 5, reading like a scholar.
Reading like a scholar, different from just reading.
Very different. Many learners read passively, their eyes move over the words, but the brain isn't fully engaged. A scholar reads with intention, with strategy. This habit turns reading from simple recognition practice into a high-yield learning session.
Now, step 1.
Step 1, choose the right material. This is strategic. You might have heard of the I+1 principle in language acquisition, input plus 1.
Meaning the material should be just a little bit challenging.
Exactly, just challenging enough. If you understand less than, say, 70% of it, you'll just drown in new words and lose the meaning. If you understand 95% or more, you're not really learning much new stuff.
So the sweet spot is around 70–80% comprehension. You get the main idea but still find new words and structures.
That's the ideal. Good choices could be short news editorials, blogs on topics you like, simple short stories maybe, things relevant to your interests.
Okay, got the right material. Step 2.
Step 2, read actively. Annotate and interact critically. Don't just let your eyes glide. This needs to be physical, tactile.
So highlighting isn't enough.
Not really. You need to annotate. Underline new words, sure, but maybe circle useful phrases or call locations words that naturally go together. Pause often. Ask yourself questions.
Like,
do I really get this sentence? How is this structured differently than my language? Why did the author use the specific word here? It forces analytical engagement, not just passive scanning.
Step 3. Taking notes.
Step 3. Take structured notes. But the key here is context. It's not just about lifting words.
What do you mean?
Write down the new word, yes, but always include the entire sentence it came from in the text.
Yeah.
Context is king.
Why the whole sentence?
Because vocabulary without context is almost meaningless. Later, when you recall the word, that original sentence helps you remember the right register, formal, informal, the grammar it needs, prepositions, verb endings. You're basically building your own personal library of correct usage examples.
Makes sense. And the final step for scholar-like reading.
Step 4, apply immediately. The use case. We keep coming back to output, don't we? If you just stop after taking notes, the word is just stored passively. You have to use it.
Right away.
Right away. After you finish reading and annotating, pick maybe 3 to 5 of those new words or phrases you noted down. Immediately create 2 or 3 unique sentences of your own using them.
Sentences relevant to your own life or interests.
Ideally, yes. This tells your brain, hey, this isn't just random info, this is an active tool I need to keep and use. That instant application significantly boosts retention.
Okay, active reading covered. Now the big one, speaking. Habit 6.
Habit 6. Speaking through immersion. This tackles the biggest barrier for many. That lag time between thinking something and actually saying it in English.
The internal translation step.
Exactly. This habit treats language more like a physical, high-speed motor skill, not just a set of abstract rules. Successful speakers don't wait until they feel perfect. They integrate speaking practice constantly through immersion and muscle memory training.
How does that work? Step 1.
Step 1, replace input. Create your English bubble. Immersion is about strategically replacing your usual native language stuff with English stuff.
So change phone language, listen to English music and news.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yes. It doesn't require moving to another country. It's about controlling your immediate environment. The goal is saturation.
So the brain starts treating English as the default.
Right. It stops seeing it as just an academic subject and starts seeing it as the functional language of your surroundings. This really speeds up the process of stopping that internal translation.
Step 2 sounds interesting. Shadowing.
Ah, shadowing, yes. Arguably one of the most efficient ways to improve real-time fluency, your rhythm, your pronunciation.
How do you do it?
You play a short bit of English audio, could be from a podcast, a speech, anything with clear speech, and you try to repeat what they're saying at the exact same time as the speaker. You are literally their shadow.
At the same time.
Not after them.
At the same time.
Mm.
It's tricky. It trains your phonological loop, the part of your working memory holding sounds, to operate at native speed. It forces your mouth, your tongue, your articulation muscles to copy the rhythm, stress, intonation.
Without giving your analytical brain time to interfere or translate.
Exactly. It's like pure muscle training for your mouth.
Yeah.
It feels awkward at first, definitely, but it's necessary to get over the physical barrier of actually making the sounds correctly and quickly.
Okay, shattering sounds intense but useful. Step 3.
Step 3, speak daily, even if alone. This is about breaking the fear barrier. If you don't practice output, you just won't get fluent. Fear of mistakes holds so many people back.
So the goal is just use your mouth. Use your mouth muscles in English every single day. It can be super simple. 5 minutes talking to yourself in the mirror. Describe what you see around you. Narrate your actions as you make coffee.
Or record a voice note.
Yeah, describe your evening plans into your phone. The goal here is quantity of use, not getting it perfect.
And doing this daily, even alone.
It does 2 things. First, builds confidence, breaks that fear barrier. Second, it trains the response pathway. Responses become more automatic, less reliant on translation. Speech gets faster.
Okay, that brings us to part 4, the key to making all this work.
Yes. We've covered preparation, focus, memory, application. But even with a perfect system, people fail. Why? They lack habit 7.
Just.
Habit 7, consistency over intensity. This is the meta habit, the one that keeps all the others going.
Consistency over intensity. What does that mean in practice?
Well, think about the common pattern. Someone gets motivated, studies like crazy for 10 hours on a Saturday,
Feels totally burnt out.
and then does nothing for the next 6 days. That stop-start cycle is disastrous because every long gap means you fall victim to that forgetting curve again. You're constantly relearning.
Whereas small, regular inputs are like compound interest.
Exactly. Small, regular efforts yield massive long-term growth. Consistency is the engine.
So how do we build consistency? Step 1.
Step 1, the minimum daily standard, or MDS. This uses some behavioral economics. You set the absolute easiest, lowest bar of English activity you will complete no matter what, no matter how tired, busy, unmotivated you feel.
The lowest bar. Why so low?
Because it bypasses a trap called hyperbolic discounting. That's our tendency to choose immediate rewards, like resting or checking social media, over bigger future rewards, like being fluent in English.
So the MDS has to be so small, it's almost easier to just do it than to skip it.
Precisely. Maybe it's reviewing 5 flashcards for 5 minutes, listening to 1 English song actively, rewriting the 3 sentences you made yesterday. Whatever it is, it's non-negotiable.
It's your insurance policy. Keeps the learning chain unbroken, prevents forgetting, protects momentum.
Yes. The simple rule, do not break the chain.
And that small task prevents that feeling of inertia, right? The resistance to starting.
Exactly. If the task is just 5 minutes, your brain doesn't really fight it. The momentum carries you. And often you find those 5 minutes turn into 20 or 30, but the initial commitment was tiny.
Okay, MDS established. Step 2.
Step 2, create a fixed schedule. Treat it like non-negotiable time. Successful performance is rarely just spontaneous. It's usually scheduled.
Like a meeting you can't miss.
Kind of. If you block out, say, 7:30 a.m. every day for your morning prime and focus session, it stops being a choice based on how you feel. It becomes an automatic habit tied into your routine.
And linking it to existing habits helps.
Definitely. Habits love fixed cues. Link the new habit, English study, to an existing one, like right after breakfast or before checking your phone.
And the last step for consistency. Step 3.
Step 3, track your progress. Visualize success. This is a simple but powerful motivator. Keep a calendar, physical or digital, and mark off every single day you hit your minimum daily standard.
Seeing that chain grow.
Seeing that long, unbroken chain reinforces the habit. It gives you immediate positive feedback. The motivation shifts subtly from I have to learn English to I don't want to break my streak.
That psychological commitment helps push through low motivation days.
Absolutely.
So the conclusion there is that consistency builds momentum and that momentum becomes unstoppable.
That's it. Regular, small sessions train your brain to expect daily English input and output. That facilitates compounding growth. It's really the difference between people who just try to learn English and those who actually master it.
Okay, let's quickly recap those 7 habits for high-performance English learning.
Sounds good.
We started with preparation and focus. Habit 1, the morning prime, for clear targets and prepping the brain.
Habit 2, the deep focus session. using time blocks to maximize focus and avoid multitasking costs.
Then memory engineering. Habit 3, active recall, forcing that effortful retrieval.
Habit 4, learning by teaching to organize knowledge and really check your understanding.
Next was application and fluency. Habit 5, reading like a scholar for active analysis and getting vocabulary and context.
Habit 6, speaking through immersion and shadowing, treating English like a motor skill, breaking that fear barrier.
And finally, the keystone habit. Habit 7, consistency over intensity, using that minimum daily standard to build unstoppable momentum.
That's the system.
And the key takeaway seems to be that you don't need perfect talent or perfect circumstances.
No, you need a perfect system, or at least a really good one. These 7 habits are that system. Committing to the process really does change everything.
Okay, so as everyone listening starts thinking about integrating these systems, you had a final thought for us.
Yeah, just something to mull over. If fluency is partly a motor skill, and we know the brain croons connections it doesn't use, what's the real neurological cost of skipping your minimum daily standard, even for just one day? How much more effort do you need tomorrow just to get back to where you were, to reactivate that faded connection?
Exactly. Think about that neurological debt, and maybe commit to your minimum daily standard starting today.